What's up guys, my name is Josh and I am from Working Aussies Homestead, and today we're going to show you how to make compost right here in this garden for your chickens to put around. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so let's say you've already laid out your plot, your little garden plot, you've run your chickens on it, they've started tilling it up. You've done your amendments, you've laid out your lime and everything such as that, and now you want to lay out your compost. And you don't really want to go buy bags and bags of compost. What are you going to do? Well, you can make one of these. It's a compost corner, and it's where you put all of your compost ingredients, your browns and your greens, and all of your nitrogen, and you put it in here, and it'll start to decompose and it'll start to become compost. Really good compost. And now you're thinking, Josh, I don't know what greens are, I don't know what browns are, and I don't have a lot of nitrogen, so what do I do? Well, I'll show you. I'll get to that. I am going to leave you guys some things in the description below so you guys can easily get this done. A compost calculator. I'm going to leave you another pamphlet that talks to you more about compost in written form, so that way you guys understand hopefully completely how this works, and also a chart that will show you all of your most common things you put in compost and what the carbon nitrogen ratio is. So before we start talking about that, let's talk about what you need. Alright, so let's talk about what you need in order to create this awesome composting thing. You need pallets. And pallets are important because they're going to be the walls to our structure. They are what is going to make everything stay inside the area that we want it to stay in, so we can build it up super high. The next thing you're going to want something to tie them together. I'm going to use these screws. I've got 8 of them, so that way I can put one on each side of each pallet. And if you're going to use screws, you're going to want a drill. But if you don't have screws and you don't have a drill, you can use this. I would not use twine. This is like a hay bale string, so that way you can tie the pallets together. And then if you're going to do that, you're going to want some scissors. The reason that we're using pallets is because they're super easy to get. If you go to your local hardware store, your local feed store, your local Walmart, your local auto parts store, anybody that gets something in on a pallet, normally they don't want hundreds of pallets sitting in the back. It's as simple as walking in, asking if you can get some pallets, and normally they'll say, go for it, they're in the back, or we can put some aside for you, you can pick them up. If you can't do that and you don't have anywhere to put it in the garden like that, you can always use a plastic garbage can with holes in it, or a metal garbage can with holes in it. You basically just want the air to be able to kind of aerate the system as much as possible. You're still going to have to turn the system, but you want to be able to give that compost something to have aerated. So we're going to make this pallet back here. We're going to make it over here in the garden space over here and get started. Alright, so after you have that all done, that back there, then you're going to want to start gathering up all your ingredients. So like your wood chips, your manure, your green material, or your brown material. And I'm sure you're asking me, what in the world are you talking about? Well, brown material is anything that has a high carbon percentage. So wood chips, sawdust, hay straw, you name it. Leaves, they all have a high carbon percentage. And then your green material, which is grass clippings, vegetables, fruits, manure, anything like that has a lower carbon to nitrogen ratio. So like wood chips, I think depending on the species is like 300 to 1, whereas some manure is 15 to 1, 12 to 1. So what you want to do is you want to have a 30 to 1 mixture, or as close to it as you possibly can get. That's going to create the perfect breakdown for the organisms and everything inside that compost pile. So what we're going to do is we're going to put wood chips in here. I have horse manure, I've got green material inside, and basically we are going to start building what we need to get done inside there. And what we also want to do is to add water to it as much as we can. Alright, so I'm going to stop the video here. Obviously, I'm wrong in the fact that you don't want to get your compost soaking wet. The whole idea here is if you were to take a handful of compost that you have wetted or gotten wet, then give it a good squeeze. You'll have like a couple of good drops come out. You do not want your compost pouring over with water. It is not going to work that way. If you have any statements or if you have any questions about that, then you need to go to the material in the description below to see exactly how wet you need to get it. But we're going to continue with our regularly scheduled program now. If it gets wet, then it's going to get hot. And if it gets hot, then it's going to kill all of the bad bacteria and microorganisms that are in the compost pile. So when the compost is done, it has nothing but like good ingredients, good materials, and it's easily broken down. So I'm gonna go grab a wheelbarrow and we're gonna get started. Something that I'll be using in this compost, instead of using all the wood chips that we have, I'm gonna be using the stuff in this brooder here. We'll be cleaning it out so that way we can move it outside. So if I take all this stuff and I put it out there, it already has manure in it, so it'll have a lower carbon nitrogen ratio. Anyways, so we're gonna just transfer this into the compost pile. Okay, so before I add this next layer of pine shavings, I'm going to go ahead and put the other side on. I usually start with 3 sides just because it's easier to get stuff in at the beginning. Once you get the 3rd side on, you either need a ramp to dump the wheelbarrow over, or you're going to need a shovel. In my case, a shovel. I tried the ramps, I almost fell off one time. So, I'm going to use the shovel, get this side on, and we're going to keep moving forward. Alright guys, there you go. Compost is all done. It's in the bin, and it will start doing its process of heating up and killing off those bad bacteria. The other bacteria will start breaking down everything inside of it, and then after anywhere from a month to a year, depending on how much time you give it, how wet it gets, and how much aeration you do to it, it will start to become compost, really rich compost. Not everything will be broken down. There will still be some things that will be in there, like larger sticks, the larger things of wood chips, whatever. They will still be in there, but the majority of it will be broken down, and when it starts to smell like earthy dirt, that is when you're starting to get, or you will have finished, your compost. Keep in mind, this is not a for sure process, okay? You need to experiment with the materials that you have. You need to experiment with the time that you want, and you just need to play around with it. This is easy stuff. It's not meant to be complicated. The most complicated part is to make sure you have a 30-to-1 or as close to a 30-to-1 ratio as possible. So, if you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Share it with people who are trying to make compost. I know this is not your only compost video, but hopefully this helps you guys figure out how easy it can be. If you have anybody that has any questions, they're welcome to make a comment down below too. We will be doing a couple of these new videos on chickens, a little bit more on compost as we start to let it spread out, and then also on the growing lights in the grow room. We have had some requests about that, so we are excited to start doing this in the new year, creating some new videos for you guys, and we hope you enjoy them. Until next time, you guys, I'm gonna go inside and clean up, but make sure that you tune in for the next video. Bye guys.